Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael DeGeorge, and I'm here posting another video in my castle here on December 22nd, 2025. It's very dark out here in the morning, and I think it's going to stay that way for most of the day. But it's actually not too bad. No snow on the ground, so that's always a blessing. And every day is a blessed day for me. And as you guys know, today's a Victory Monday for my Buffalo Bills. They had a pretty ugly performance against the Cleveland Browns yesterday, but they end up winning 23-20. So they're 11-4 on the season, and I think after tonight they'll officially be in the playoffs. I'm assuming the Colts are going to lose tonight, so that's going to be a blessing. Obviously, they have to play better, but they got the last two games at home, and I expect them to play better. And before I get started with the theme of my video today, as I always do, I want to read an excerpt from a daily gospel devotional, the New Morning Mercies, that was given to me by Pastor Bob Cadola at Greece Assembly of God Church. And on today, December 22nd, it says, Jesus faced separation from his Father in the here and now so that we would know the Father's acceptance now and for all eternity. Very encouraging words. And that is the theme of my video today, encouraging words. As you all know, I go to Greece Assembly of God Church every Sunday. Last Sunday, on the 14th, was the best day of my life. Being baptized, singing Christmas carols. It was all a blast. And yesterday was great. It always is, every time I go to the church. There was a Christmas service, obviously, because it was the last Sunday before Christmas. And in my upcoming videos, my theme will be about Christmas and how this is going to be a very hard but potentially rewarding Christmas for me personally. And I'm also going to share my past Christmas memories with my parents, but that's for future videos. As for today, I want to talk about yesterday at the church. Pastor Pat was the man as usual. He spoke so well, so eloquently as he always does. But one of the things he did and said really hit me hard. He was talking about how no matter what situation you are this Christmas season, that if you got Christ in your life, that you're going to be okay and that you're not alone and that you're no accident. And I know that I have Christ in my life and that I'm not truly alone. But when he said the word accident, it really hit home to me. I started crying in my seat. My dear friends, the Ciadella family, were sitting right next to me. It was an honor and privilege to be with them yesterday. It always is. And one of the things that they don't know, or maybe one of them knows, but not the whole family, is that the reason why it hits home for me is because when I was little, I was called an accident on many occasions. And the reason why was because I was born on March 17th, 1978, but I wasn't supposed to be. I was 7 weeks premature. And the reason why is because my mom, her ex-husband, Jimmy Amico, got murdered the day before on March 16th of 1978. I don't know the details, obviously. Suffice to say, I know that it was not a random act of violence. That whoever killed him meant to kill him specifically. It haunted my mom to the point where she had me 7 weeks premature. She was anxious and nervous and fearful. And as my dad always told me the story, it was hard for the doctors to get me out of my mom's stomach. Obviously, they succeeded. My mom was in the hospital for the next few days after she gave birth to me. And my dad always tells the story of that St. Patrick's Day, 1978, being a very snowy day and one of the worst weather days St. Patrick's Day's ever had here in Rochester, New York. And I looked it up and he wasn't lying. It truly was. And I think since then, maybe one or two St. Patrick's Days have been worse, but not many. And suffice to say, I think that's kind of the story of my life. And One of the things is that the people closest to me knew that story. And my brother used to always call me an accident. Every time I wanted him to love me and care about me, he would say, Mike, I'm not going to love you. I'm not even going to like you. You're an accident. And supposedly when my sister left the house when I was 9 years old, my mom was on the phone with her the day later, and she asked, if anything, you could have said goodbye to your little brother. And according to my mom, my sister said, I didn't think I needed to say goodbye to the little accident. That hurt. Hurt for a long, long time. I never told my sister that I knew that she said that. I'm not even positive that she did. I'm going to assume my mom's telling the truth on this one. But I get along with my sister okay now. I actually talked to her on Saturday, had about 45-minute conversation. She sent photos of the Christmas dinner party that her and her daughter, my niece Meadow, had at their house on Saturday in Fort Collins, Colorado. They were having a great time. I told her I was happy that she was happy. And Meadow passed all of her exams. She's trying to be an engineer. 5 exams she took over a 10-day period. She passed all of them. She's doing great at Colorado State. Very happy for her, very proud of her. So suffice to say, when Pastor Pat said that, it really hit home. That's why I was crying. And the rest of the service, I wasn't quite the same until pretty much the end. When the service was over, a little after noon, we all went down to the gymnasium, get some food. I didn't eat anything. I just stood there for a minute, watched everybody be with their families. It was hard. But I got some encouraging words. And the first encouraging words I got was from Pastor Pat himself, because he was basically telling me that I'm not an accident and that you're not alone on Christmas, regardless of what happens, because you've got Christ in your life. I felt like he was speaking to me then. That's why I got so emotional. And I also got encouraging words from 2 gentlemen I always get encouraging words from, Andrew Ciadello and his son Luke. And it wasn't exactly what I wanted to hear, but it was what I needed to hear. So I thank them from the bottom of my heart for giving me those encouraging words. I understand. I take it to heart. And then I got some encouraging words from the gentleman who gave me this book, Pastor Bob Godola. I came up to Bob and I said, Bob, I feel like I'm a bad person sometimes. And he told me, Mike, don't ever say that. You're not a bad person. God's doing wonders for your life. Just be patient. So one of my biggest sins, one of the things that Pastor Pat was saying at the service yesterday is that we all sin every day. We all think about ourselves more than our neighbor. I did that yesterday. I sin every day. If Pastor Pat sins, you know I do. So my anxiety, I'm getting better. I'm trying to get it checked. It's a process. It's only been a few months. But one of the things that I felt like I had some positive growth yesterday was after everybody was done and the food was pretty much finished and everybody was starting to leave the gymnasium, it was obviously time to clean up. So I helped out with a lot of the guys at Adult Teen Challenge and the guys at the Breakfast of Champions, as well as a couple of the pastors, put in the tables and the chairs and ultimately the Christmas tree away up in the balcony. was about 45 minutes of grinding. I felt like I was back at Wegmans. The difference was I got so exhausted once I was carrying that tree up into the balcony. I felt like I was out of breath for like about 5-10 seconds. But then the guy who took me to church and took me home from church, Tom Hakes, was right there as soon as I opened the door. And he said, "You ready?" I said, "Yeah." And I was winded. I was very tired. But God bless Tom. Can't wait to see him tomorrow morning at Breakfast of Champions. And the moral of the story is that you get encouraging words from all sorts of people. And it could come all different ways. And you don't even know why or how it's encouraging until sometimes after the fact. But then you realize, yeah, those are the right things to say at the right time. And then last night happened. I went to sleep at halftime of the Patriots-Baltimore Ravens football game. And my friend Luke was texting me about the game. And I didn't respond because I was sleeping. But then my phone rang about a few hours later. I got two ding, ding, ding. And I'm like, there's no way this is Luke now, early in the morning. So I checked it, and it was encounterfreedom.org, December 2025 newsletter. And it basically said that you're not alone on Christmas if you have Christ in your life. At 5:30 in the morning, I heard that, and I teared up. So to Matt Muscatel, I believe I pronounced his last name right, Matt Muscatel, thank you for those encouragements. You sent me newsletters for the last 3 months. And I sent you an email this morning. And I hope that you respond to them. And I'd love to get to know you. And I think you're going to be a blessing in my life. So thank you. Encouraging words come from so many different sources. You just never know. So like this video, subscribe to the channel if you want, because I love people. I love animals, as my cat Keanu is eating right now. I love Jesus Christ, and I love you all. Because life is good. God is good. God bless you all, and thank you for listening.